Hey y'all, it's Rick here with Uncommon Communion, recording at 11:58 p.m. on Saturday, which is actually 12:58 p.m. because in just a few hours, officially at 2 a.m., it will become 3 a.m. and we will spring forward. So I'm going to keep this short tonight because I am very tired after the week that I had. I think I shared with you on Saturday morning how tired I was from the work week, the main part of my work week. And then Saturday, I worked another 8 hours at my second and now third jobs. So it was a lot. And I need to get to bed because, well, I got one less hour of sleep tonight. Good news, though, that today's psalm is short, and let's jump on into it. As always, y'all, let us remember we are always and everywhere in the holy presence of the more and each other. So, the third Sunday of Lent is upon us, and it is a story from John's Gospel, which is one of my favorites in really all the Gospels because it's a conversation, right? And I don't know that we really think about it enough, but conversation and conversion are the same root word, right? To change. And I think the goal of a good conversation, and think back to the last time you had a really good conversation, right? It left you changed, right? Maybe you didn't change the other person, and I don't think that's really the point of a conversation. I think the point of a conversation, unlike maybe a debate or maybe an argument, a point of a conversation is to become changed, right? I remember a Jesuit priest mentor of mine, or spiritual mentor, let's say, because I never met him, just listened to him on retreats that were at the Creighton website. And he used to say that when he would talk to students or talk to others, at the end of the conversation, he wouldn't say see ya or bye or have a good one. He would say good, just good, to affirm and to acknowledge that, well, it was good because he was changed by the conversation. So in John's Gospel for the liturgical third Sunday of Lent, we have Jesus at the well in Samaria. And there's a lot that can be said about this. And certainly, if you're interested, look it up. There's a lot of historical stuff going on, the well in Samaria, and really important, significant things. But what I think is so fascinating is the sparring, if you will, that the woman at the well has with Jesus. And again, they kind of go back and forth, and it's a true conversation, right? It was not in the Catholic liturgical cycle, but it was in the Episcopal, where I worship, liturgical cycle last week, that we had another conversation in John's Gospel, which is, or was, the conversation between Jesus and Nicodemus. And I see Lucy, my dog, is doing her little digging thing in the background. I'm going to actually angle this down a little bit so we can just kind of watch the pooch. And if you're on podcast, you may want to switch over to video and just watch a dog do her thing. Nothing bad, nothing bad. But nevertheless, as I am upstaged by my pooch, um, I, um, I think these two conversations are both significant, but they're different. Because Nicodemus is really just a foil for Jesus. He just kind of asks, that question, how can you be born again, right? And Jesus, goes into a kind of a long sort of discourse. We get obviously the most famous line, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, right? So that all may have eternal life who came to believe through him, or something along those lines. In the Samaritan woman at the well, the woman is a real conversation partner, and she kind of spars, as I mentioned, with Jesus. And at the end of the story, when Jesus's apostles are scandalized for him talking to a woman, and especially a Samaritan woman, it is said that she goes back to her village and evangelizes the rest of the village. And there is a tradition in Christianity, especially Eastern Orthodox and Eastern Christianity, that her name is Photine, which is it sounds as it sounds, photon, Photine, right? Light is her traditional name, and it is really believed that she went on to be a disciple that traveled and taught, and there's parts of North Africa that have some traditional connection with her and so forth. So a really remarkable figure and such a great and symbolic conversation. So I think it comes at a good point in Lent, about halfway through. We are not yet to the fourth Sunday, which is a special Sunday, but I think we may be thirsting for more, and Jesus gives it to us in the form of living water. Psalm 67 is what we arrive at, and it's a short one, and maybe one of the shortest we've had. It's only 7 verses. And I was struck when I was reading it, and I'll read the whole thing because it is short, but by the last verse, right? The very last verse, in light of what we were just talking about. So, O maker of life, show your great kindness and blessing to us. Speak blessing words over us and make your face shine on us, that your good road will be made known to those who walk the earth. Then the nations will see that you are the one who will set them free and make them whole. O giver of breath, may the nations give you honor and praise. May all people speak well of you. Let the nations be glad and sing songs of joy. Through your right ways, you will bring justice to all people and guidance to all nations. O maker of life, may the nations give honor and praise to you. May all people speak well of you. The land has brought forth a harvest of corns, beans, squash, herbs, and many good medicines. This is how the great Spirit, our Creator, blesses us. Yes, he pours out his blessings on us so that those who live in distant lands will show him great honor and respect. Yeah, that idea of pouring out the blessings, right? And I love this indigenous translation with corn and beans and squash and herbs and many good medicines, right? So, again, y'all, I hope as we continue through this Lenten journey, you are feeling God pouring blessings out. Everyone has a different journey. It's been a tough journey with us politically and with war now. Again, it's just a week. Hard to believe, just a week. But I hope that Lent has been a good one. And by good, meaning nourishing and nurturing and leaving you thirsting more and more for God and feeling in prayer and in giving and in fasting that some of that thirst that you have can be slaked, right? I love that word, slaked. Even if I don't exactly know how to spell it, I'll have to look that up. But what a great word. And it's one of those words that just has really one meaning that I know of: to slake your thirst, to relieve your thirst. So it's such a great word. All right, y'all. As I mentioned, I'm going to keep it short because it is getting close to that loss of hour, and I want to be asleep when that happens. All right, y'all. Let's say the serenity prayer as we often do. God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thy will, O God, not ours, be done. All right, y'all. Blessing and good. Be bold, be well, hold fast, y'all.